morning. It is 6:35 a.m. Let me take this time to welcome you to Sunrise here on Tobago Updates Television. I am your host, Lavion Cupid, and today is Tuesday, the 6th of January, 2026. We are coming to you live from the Port Mall, downtown Scarborough, Tobago. And this morning, I am going to bring you updated with the news brief as we keep you updated with all things current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago as a wider entity, regionally and internationally. Kickstarting the morning at a political meeting held in Bethesda last night, Chief Secretary Fali Augustine announced the arrival of a new cargo vessel he said has been secured to replace the MV Cabo Star on the Inter-Island Sea Bridge. Augustine said NIDCO has signed a 12-month lease for the MV Blue Wave Harmony, adding that the vessel has already departed Egypt and is currently en route to Port of Spain. Key upgrades include approximately 100 cabins, increased space for refrigerated goods, and heavy cargo and upgraded seating, dining facilities, and heavier duty loading ramps. In the interim, contingency measures are in place utilizing the TNT Spirit and Galleon's Passage to ensure no disruption to the supply chain. The MV Cabo Star will be pulled from service on Monday, January 12th. I recall in December, there was concern and unease among citizens about what will happen after the MV Cabo Star is pulled from service come next week, Monday. So we have the MV Blue Wave Harmony en route to Trinidad and Tobago. Moving on, but staying on politics, Secretary of Infrastructure Trevor James has accused the former PNM administration of major financial misconduct, alleging that 25 contracts totaling more than $58 million were awarded to a local contractor on December 18, 2020, just weeks before the January 2021 THA election. Speaking at a Tobago People's Party meeting in Mason Hall, James claimed the contracts were approved under former Chief Secretary Ansel Dennis and former Secretary for Infrastructure Kwesi Devines, despite significant portions of the work being incomplete or not started. James alleged that although the projects were fully paid for, about 50% were unfinished and 25% never began, citing examples such as the Sesame Street extension in Bethel, Jagers Hall, and Robert Street in Roxborough. He further claimed that completion certificates were improperly signed and that the previous administration left the THA with nearly $1 billion in debt. He said the election was a choice between accountability and past financial mismanagement. So we see allegations on political podiums being levied against opposing political parties once again. The Division of Education, Research and Technology, DIRTEC, reported a smooth start to Term 2 of 2025-2026 academic year yesterday, January 5th, 2026. In a media release yesterday afternoon, the division noted no major operational issues with teacher attendance exceeding 90% across ECCE, primary and secondary schools. However, student attendance varied with a lower turnout at ECCE centers and secondary schools. The school nutrition program successfully resumed and a minor electrical, plumbing and air conditioning upgrades were completed at several schools during the Christmas break. Secretary Zorisha Hackett underscored the reopening as a renewed commitment to education that develops purposeful, liberated thinkers beyond exam performance. In news of crime in Trinidad, the country has recorded its second double murder for 2026. Reports indicate that at least 3 people were shot at Bellevue Road, Long Circle, St. James last night. 1 man died at the scene and another at the hospital. The story will be updated in our subsequent newscast at 6:30 p.m. In some tragic news, also in Trinidad, the grandmother of 10-month-old AMPLIA Sipasad, who drowned at the family's St. James home on December 31st, has reportedly passed away by self-inflicted means. Police reports indicate that the 52-year-old grandmother had stated that she was, quote, tired of being blamed for AMPLIA's death. On All Year's Day, the child's father told police he left her with her grandmother and went upstairs the property. When he returned some 15 minutes later, the child was found motionless in the family's pool. She was later rushed to hospital but subsequently died. Taking a look regionally, geopolitical tensions. Havana, Cuba. Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel on Tuesday strongly condemned the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife by U.S. forces, describing the operation as an act of state terrorism and a criminal assault. Speaking before thousands of supporters gathered in a square opposite the U.S. Embassy in Havana, Diaz-Canel accused Washington of kidnapping a legitimate president sovereignly elected by his people. He rejected U.S. influence in the region, declaring, "This is not your backyard or disputed territory. We do not accept or recognize the Monroe Doctrine, nor kings, nor outdated emperors." End quote. The remarks underscore Cuba's firm backing of Maduro and highlighted escalating tensions between Venezuela and the United States as regional allies rally around Venezuelan leader amid the growing diplomatic crisis. We also saw former St. Vincent and Grenadines former Prime Minister Rav Gonzalez also condemning the actions of the U.S. Dominica Prime Minister Mrs. Kerrit. He's calling for diplomatic talks as well in the region and for stability for the people of Venezuela. CARICOM not putting out quite a bit of a statement. Dr. Rav Gonzalez also criticizing CARICOM on their stance. And finally, internationally, former Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro pleaded not guilty to U.S. federal drug charges during his first court appearance in Manhattan on Monday, defiantly declaring his innocence and insisting he remains Venezuela's president after being captured by U.S. forces in Caracas. Appearing in shackles before U.S. District Judge Alvin Holstein, Maduro rejected the legitimacy of the proceedings, while his wife Celia Flores also pleaded not guilty to the charges against her. Both are among 6 defendants accused in a sweeping indictment alleging a 25-year conspiracy with international drug traffickers. Claims they strongly deny. The couple is being held at MDC Brooklyn as protesters gathered outside the courthouse, highlighting the case's significant political and diplomatic ramifications. And that's it for your morning brief here on Tobago Update Television, here on Sunrise, keeping you updated with current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago as a wider entity, regionally and internationally. As we approach Monday, January 12th, 2026, the Tobago House of Assembly election, we are going to be speaking to candidates here, no longer prospective candidates, nominated candidates on both sides. And this morning, joining me for a conversation is Mr. Sterling Timothy, and he is the People's National Movement candidate for Bethel New Grange. Mr. Timothy, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us here on Sunrise.
Morning.
All right. Mr. Timothy, so this is your first time throwing your hat in a political ring. You are the candidate for the People's National Movement within your constituency. I want to ask you, sir, how has it been on the ground? How have the people received you within your constituency?
Firstly, let me say good morning to Tobago. Good morning to Tobago Updates. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Morning to the people of Bethel New Grange. It's been very beautiful. It's been heartwarming. We are on the ground. We are getting a lovely feedback as we traverse through the constituency, meeting the people, getting the concerns, and it gives you a feeling that it's time to represent, time to help the people. When you hear people concerns, you take them down. You know, once you get into that position, you know you have to deliver, and you know you are mandated with an order to serve the people.
So tell me, what are some of the things you plan on doing differently from your predecessor? What are some of the complaints you are hearing right now in the Bethel Newgrange constituency that you believe that you would be able to effect change?
Representation. Senior representative is one of the cries. A lot of people say, you will come, you will come to get our vote, and then we won't see you again. You won't pass, you won't tune in, you won't answer calls, you won't be at your office. These are the things you're hearing from people. Let us see you. Let us feel like we have somebody who is listening to our concerns and who is fighting for them. Show up. So I will make sure that I show up once given the opportunity to serve. I will show up for my people. That's the main urge that people is asking from their representative in this area. Don't be absent.
On the podium, sir, you describe yourself as a ghetto youth. You say a ghetto youth that is standing up and coming out to represent his people. We know that Bethel has, over the years, historically been an area where we made them as a hotspot area. What are some of, not only the cries, but what are some of your plans to deal with unemployment and even crime within your constituency?
Well, unemployment, we did the mandate of the PNM this time around is to provide sustainable employment. Employment that you could take yourself to another level. Not just employment that will hold you political. And in my area, there's a lot of entrepreneurs, and we really want to push entrepreneurship, right? Because the government will not be able to hire everyone, but we will be able to make a platform. And with the crime, is a mind thing as well. So we want to do programs that will work on the young people's mindset. We want to bring back trainings and bring back counseling and bring back certain programs on the community development that will help the minds of the youths. Because when you have simple conversation with the youths, you will hear that, okay, they feel like nobody cares. They feel like nobody listens, or nobody likes us, and these kinds of things. So with programs that will come back on board through the youth center, especially the police youth club, we really want to get that back up and running. So it occupy the young fellas, and with the sports and the feel that everything that we're planning to develop, all together, everything has a part to play with changing the mindset of the youths, and with that happening, youths employed, youth's mindset being different, having an opportunity in sports, having an opportunity through entrepreneurship, the crime will go down and it will stay down.
So you believe that socially your constituency mostly will have social issues, and socially is where you see the neglect over the past 4 years?
Yes, it has been very, very neglected socially. There's no programs being run through the youth center. There are programs, but we need to intensify. And getting the youth to come out is another aspect of it. So it's on a relationship kind of level we have to work with the youth. You have to get down on the youth level. And I am a young person. They are very, very, how to put it, they know me very well. So I can have conversations with them on a friend-to-friend level that we could get them to come out. It's not just having the programs. You have to get them to attend so that it could have an impact on them. So with that now, that brings relationship, right? So we have to keep tugging the relationship with the youths to get them out to the programs, because they might just see a flyer, or you might just tell them, today it have a program by the youth center. They might read it, they might not show. I mean, we now have to traverse, we have to walk, we have to keep a relationship with them. Well, come out, something beneficial for them, make it exciting. Right, advertisement, different things you have to boost, so you will be, yeah boy, look like you have something real nice by the center today. I think that will be beneficial to me. And we have to keep pushing with them. We have to keep pushing. Can't give up. Right? You might keep a program today, they might show up, we have to keep pushing, we have to keep pushing, we have to keep pushing. We can't just give up on the youths. Right? So that's why I'm here, so we could keep pushing with the youths.
So, Mr. Timothy, tell me, as a first-time politician, a first-timer, what was the incentive? Or probably I am the public, myself and the public isn't aware that you were probably always a part of the People's National Movement Youth Arm, or is it that you decided that you want to represent your community, but why the People's National Movement? What was it that made you think that this is where I want to align my political views?
The People's National Movement is a party that I'm sure I probably said it already. It's a party that sets a platform for youth. I might not been a part of the youth arm, but I've always been a supporter of the PNM. And going into politics is the best avenue. You sit and you watch and you weigh out what's taking place. And I look for a party of stability, a party that is standing on a platform that could boost and shoot a better future. Right? And that's why I chose the People's National Movement in making my entrance into politics. That's why I choose the PNM. I look at the track record, and the PNM has an effect on every young person walking around in Trinidad and Tobago. Whether you look at it from an educational point of view, you look at it from a home point of view, you look at it from a grand point of view, just watching our parents having a chance to educate us, no matter if you reach to the highest level of education. But still, the PNM, especially in my era, played a very important part in me being who I am for today. So it's a part, it's being grateful as well. It's being grateful, and that's why I stand on the PNM platform for today.
All right. So going into this election, Monday, January 12th, with days away, how confident are you feeling? You have one other opponent from the Tobago People's Party, and also coming out from April 28th general election, where the whole of Tobago was blue at that point in time. How confident are you feeling right now, sir?
I'm confident. I'm confident. We have a strong team. And we're working. We're going door to door. Right? We're doing door to door. We're meeting the people. We're listening to the people. It might not be the most colorful campaign that we have at this time. But at this time, we have the facts. The writing is on the wall. All the facts are there. And our team is working relentless. And we will bring home better New Grange for the People's National Movement.
Right. And finally, Mr. Timothy, tell me, tell viewers and those listening, what would you want to say to the constituents there in Bethel New Grange that they could expect from Sterling Timothy if he is elected come on Monday, January 12th?
I want to say to the people of Bethel New Grange, stay focused. Stay focused, and I am here to represent you. I am here to walk with you. I am here to listen to your needs. You can expect great representation from me. I'm determined. Right? I'm young. I'm ready to work. And I'm here for you. Go to the polls, make the right decision, and we can change the future for the better. Right? These are the words from Sterling Timothy, your area representative. Let's go out. I love you. Love my constituency. I hear your cries. Give me the chance to change your life. I thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Timothy, the People's National Movement candidate for Bethel New Grange, going into the Monday, January 12, 2026 Tobago House of Assembly election. As we get to know candidates a little better this morning, we move on over to Mr. Dexter Miller. He is the People's National Movement candidate for Mason Hall South, Bagatelle. Mr. Miller, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us here on Sunrise.
Good morning, Lavi. How are you?
I am well, sir. Are you hearing me clearly?
Yes, I'm hearing you clearly.
All right, great. So next week, Monday, we head to the polls, sir. You're a first-time politician in this ring, throwing your hat into the political ring. You have I should say, a reputation of being a man of service, coming from not only from your background but within your community. I want to ask you, sir. Usually, and even Mr. Timothy, right before you, he said that within his constituency, his constituents are saying to him, "We want to see you after January 12th." So, having a reputation as a man of service, I want to ask you, how do you intend on keeping that trailblazing, being a man of service to people, if you are elected come Monday, January 12th? And that you would not disappear
Well,
on the
good
people.
morning again. Good morning again. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning to all viewers. I want to correct something. We don't use the word "fini PNM." We are positive people. We use the word "when." I have always been accessible. Persons in my constituency as to the fact that they have entrusted me before to serve them in different capacity. So I have always been on the ground. I've always been involved. I've always been there for my constituents. So it's a continuation on a different level, more intention, because the demand will become even more one. But I've always been the person as constituents.
All right. So tell me, sir, how has it been on the campaign trail? We had almost a 6-week campaign time period so far. How has it been on the campaign? How have the people received you? Just adjusting.
Sorry, can you repeat that question, please?
All right, so you ready for me? I'm
Yes, go ahead.
asking, sir, it's almost a 6-week campaign period. So my question is, how has the people on the ground received you thus far? And what are some of the cries or even complaints that you would have gotten from the people within your constituency thus far?
Well, ma'am, first, our campaign has been not 6 weeks, but in fact, since July. The approach has been strategic. The approach has been clinical. We have gone door to door. We have heard conversations. We have had community engagement. We have taken all the notes during our walkabout. And here's where we would have formulated our big red bold PNM contract. The people have expressed, they have said, they have rolled out to us their concerns, and we are prepared to treat with almost every concern in a way that will bring a significant life-changing experience to those persons in all 15 districts.
And so one of your opponents is Miss Natisha Charles Panton on the other side of the Tobago People's Party. Well, of course, I have to ask you, Tobago would have turned blue on April 28th. So I have to ask you, sir, how confident are you feeling going into the election? I mean, Mrs. Charles Panton is noted as one of a very true and strong politician. So how do you feel going into this election come next week, Monday?
I feel very confident. And one may question call a true and strong politician. A lot of persons who offer themselves for service often neglect the fact that it's a constituency who voted for you. And when you are given additional responsibility and you give that additional responsibility the back burner, so to speak, and focus on a department, only to return to your constituents 3 years and 10 months later to say, here I am, I want continuation, that is not what the representation is about. You have to remember that your first and foremost responsibility is to your constituency. And it doesn't matter what additional responsibility you are given, you have to find that balance to treat with your constituency. Because at the end of the day, no department, whether it's agriculture, education, tourism, has ever voted for anyone. So it's about understanding your role and responsibility and keeping focus as to what was your initial representation, the way people chose you and what you were chosen to do first. It's not about department.
Right. I just want you to clarify for me. I'm not sure if you did answer it clearly. What are some of the issues that your constituents would have brought to the front for you? That these are the issues that were either left to languish away, or that were never attended to, or that they would like to see attended to.
Well, in the beginning of the foundation of the situation, prior to 2021, the constituency was known as Bacalet Mount St. George. And under that name and demographics, you had all services and amenities, social, sporting, health, education, etc. Whoever came in 2021 for the THA election inherited a new district called Bacalet Bacatel and new demographics. And having inherited that, once you campaign, you would have walked, you would have listened, you would have observed, you would have talked, you'd have made your notes. You'd have known in priority what is needed, what is necessary. And having been elected in 2021, the People's Party, the district of Bacalet Bagatelle has no public facility for recreation. We have no health facility. We have no social space for any type of intervention. The infrastructure. There have been no employment opportunity. So my question or my comment would be, what was representation about for the last 4 years? Not one ribbon has been cut in this district. Not one road has been fixed. So we have to understand what are the priorities when we are elected. How do we approach them? There are things that must be done. There are things that can be done together. And there are some things you will have to do in the long term. But not even anything was started in the short term in this electoral district. So the issue is, what are we voted for? What is there for us to relate to? And the issue is not really repetitive. It is not personal. My issue is with what has not been done for this constituency. My issue is that there are low-hanging fruits that could have been done. There's the Bacalet, there's the Scarborough Community Center building at Bacalet, which was used by community development. I know there are some private entities would have did some consultation for that building. It could have been refurbished and reopened for a community center. There's Sandy Hall. It could have been used for social intervention and other programs for the youth, the elderly, the differently able. There's the old Scarborough Hospital. There's a lot of unused spaces. We can have elderly activity center and other avenues of dispensation for healthcare. So there's so much that it's not about financial, and we keep preaching financial language and the lack of resources.
Right.
The persons in Friendsfield would have highlighted the fact that there's no street lights at the bottom of French Fort. I engaged the stakeholder T&Tech, and those street lights were fixed. There are other cries that were treated with by me, and I'm not into office. And it was not about money. It's about getting a definite action on behalf of the persons whom you represent. And if you cannot initiate, you cannot do, you have a responsibility to let them know, this is where I'm at. I have looked into your situation. I will continue to treat with it. And eventually, we together will get it done.
All right. Okay. Well, and finally, Mr. Miller, sorry, I just want to ask you, based on that information, what kind of representation could the people of Mason Hall South Bagatelle look forward to if you are elected come Monday, January 12th, sir?
Well, I continue to correct you by saying when, but they can look forward to a representative that they can relate to. As I said before, they have always been approaching me. They have been to my phone is always ringing with an issue from someone, not even in my electorate alone, across the broad section of Tobago, based on my past professional dispensation or where I was before. I would have treated with Tobago in many issues and bringing solutions to those issues. So on a whole, the persons of Bacalet, of Mason South Bagatelle, can look forward to a representation that they can relate to, that they can reach, that is accessible, that is action-oriented, that is problem-solving, and we can together we can't fix every single problem. That is impossible. But we can surely engage the things that can bring life potential. Do the skills bank. How do you make the young people in your area employable or employment ready? You provide options and avenues for them. You open the doors and try to encourage them to take the options that are available within the framework of the or what is available to them, or even introducing new strategies and programs that could enhance and encourage and engage their minds. So there's so much to look at. The PNM is all encompassing, and there's so much for us to do. The Bold New Red Plan speaks to the entire Tobago diaspora and how the PNM intends to approach the governance for the next 4 years and beyond, because our plans are not short-term. They are long-term, they are sustainable, they are attainable, they are futuristic, and they are realistic.
All right. So thank you so much, Mr. Miller. Thank you so very much for joining us here on Sunrise this morning. Viewers, so this morning we spoke to People's National Movement candidates for Bethel Newgrange, that's still on Timothy, and also Mason South Bagatelle, Mr. Dexter Miller. As we get familiar with some of the candidates as we move into the Tobago House of Assembly election carded for next week, Monday, January 12th. The programming here on Sunrise is done, but not on Tobago Updates, because we have Akinlabi and Renessa continuing on the morning show. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Lavian.
Good morning, Lavian. How are you?
I am well. I know you have a packed show this morning. More candidates for us to speak to?
More candidates.
More candidates. As we get closer to the day, to D-Day next week, Monday, the candidates will be coming in fast. Yes, and they will be having their conversations and doing the last-ditch efforts to get the support they needed to cross the line.
Head into the polls. I don't know about you guys, but I am anxious.
I mean, I'm anxious. I'm anxious for it to be over, really. But in terms of just anxious for
I am anxious for the culmination of the day itself. But you know what? Tobago Update Television will be keeping the people abreast ball by ball coverage on election night. Guys, I want to wish you a really, really great day and a fantastic show. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.
Same to you.
Viewers, that is it for Sunrise here on Tobago Updates Television. Tomorrow we have more conversations, not only with the prospective candidates, but we also speak on the geopolitical tensions and any possible fallouts for Trinidad and Tobago. I want to wish you a really pleasant day and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Stay tuned to Tobago Updates Television.
Tobago is we. Tobago is all our we.
The Anchor holds. Join the TPP family on Monday, January 5th for 2 power-packed public meetings at 6 p.m. at the Blackrock Hard Court. Come hear your candidate for Plymouth Blackrock, Kern Alexis, a community-driven leader and youth advocate. Then we journey to Plymouth together at Adventure Micro Mall, Lower Car Park, Plymouth at 8 p.m. Come hear the best candidate for Bethesda Leketo, Zarisha Hackett, a fearless leader and community servant. One night, 2 meetings. Monday, January 5th, 6 p.m. at the Black Rock Hard Court and Adventure Micro Mall Lower Car Park at 8 p.m. Tobago is we.
Our future, our voice.
On January 12th, 2026, vote for bold leadership. Vote for the anchor. Vote for the Tobago People's Party.
Go Tobago is we vote in TPP, Tobago People's Party. Now the anchor host.
Welcome to Belgro's Funeral Home, where we celebrate life's precious moments. From the moment you enter our doors, you're met with kindness and care. Our reception area is designed to be more than just a waiting room. It is a place of calm, thoughtfully created to ease the weight of grief. In our private conference room, conversations are guided by empathy. Here, our client experience coordinators sit beside you, not just across the table to help plan a service that truly reflects your loved one's story. Whether it's a traditional farewell or a personalized celebration of life, we take time to understand your wishes and offer thoughtful guidance. At the heart of our organization is a dedicated manager who ensures that everything runs smoothly, from the smallest detail to the final farewell. We understand that choosing a casket or a coffin is a deeply personal decision. In our selection room, we provide a calm, respectful environment where families can take their time and explore options that reflect their loved one's life, beliefs, and preference. Our spacious chapel is where memories are honored and lives are celebrated. Designed with serenity and warmth, it provides a welcoming space for families and friends to come together in reflection and remembrance. For families choosing cremation, we offer on-site professional cremation services in a setting that upholds dignity, peace, and confidentiality. Our crematorium offers a seamless and respectful alternative to traditional burial, giving families flexibility while maintaining the highest standard of care.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
morning and welcome to the Tobago Updates morning show. Today is Tuesday, the 6th of January 2026. It's good to be alive, another day above the ground. Let us give God thanks and praise for that. This morning, yes, the second day of school. We know that you're up and you're ready. You're getting those children ready. You're having your tea, your coffee, your cricks and cheese. Maybe you're having a full platter of breakfast with bacon and pancakes, waffles. You name it. You're being treated like royalty this morning. We have a lot to discuss. We have a lot to talk about as you know the elections is drawing near. And so politics is going to dominate our conversations moving forward. I'm joined in the studio this morning by the lovely Vanessa Ortiz. Good morning, Vanessa.
Good morning, Akinlabi. Good morning to our viewers. Thank you so much for joining us here again on Tobago Updates morning show. And as you rightfully said, Akinlabi, it is close to election. Things are ramping up. Campaigns are ongoing. And everyone is just trying to rally their supporters to ensure that they go out to vote at the polls on Monday, January 12th, 2026.
Yes, so we're going to have a bit of a change in our morning schedule today. We're going to skip the news and we're going to go straight into our birthday shoutouts and celebrate with those who are celebrating with us right here at Tobago Updates. Right here with Tobago Updates. Whatever you're celebrating, we want to celebrate with you. And so we start the shoutouts by saying happy birthday. Happy birthday goes out to Mr. Dale Wallace. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Wallace. Yes, today is a special day. Today is your special day and we wish God's richest blessings on your life and we pray that moving forward you would see all his goodness in your life and this year you will see blessing after blessing. We hope today you surround yourself with friends and family and they shower you with all the good gifts and all those things that you wanted in the past year. They surprise you with something nice. Happy birthday to you, sir.
Up next, we have Roy Corbin. Happy birthday to you. It's belated birthday. Happy belated birthday to you from the Tobago Updates family. We hope that your day was filled with family, it was filled with lots of joy, and that this new year brings you the prosperity and all the goals that you would like to achieve. Happy birthday from us here at the Tobago Updates family.
Yes, people, and whatever you're celebrating, whether it's a birthday, an anniversary, you graduated from high school, graduated from university, you started a business, you closed a deal, you sold your business for a couple $1 million and you want to celebrate, send your information to us here at Tobago Updates. And Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean and the wider world will celebrate with you. Now, we're not going to go to a break. We're going to go straight into our interviews. And this morning we have on set with us Assemblyman Trevor James, who's going up for the Scarborough, who's the area representative for the Scarborough-Mount Grace seat. And he's here to talk about his campaign so far for the 2026 THA elections. Good morning and welcome, Mr. James.
Good morning, Akinlabi. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Vanessa. Good morning. Good morning. I'm happy to be here.
So, Mr. James, I've seen your activity a bit on social media, but I want to know what the campaign has been like on the ground for you thus far.
Oh, we've been getting only positive responses. We've attempted to walk the district twice, but I think generally the people are showing appreciation for the work that I have done in the district, work that I've done at the division, and things are going well.
So can you highlight to the public some of the successes that you've had in your district while you had your tenure there for the past 4 years?
I think the biggest success we've had is being able to upgrade and repair Mount Grace playing field, bring back the lights, bring back sporting activity to Mount Grace. We now have a standard field at Mount Grace and the TFA have started using that field. So that would be our biggest success, being that we've attempted to achieve a people-centered kind of 4 years. But along the way, we've upgraded Google Patch Bridge. And when we came into office, people couldn't cross the river if rain came down. That was one of the big deliverables for us because that's a promise we made. James Avenue, Rockley Vale, Abraham Trace drainage as well, Hart Lane upgrade. So we've gone around to every polling division in the district and have done some infrastructural upgrade.
In your walks in your electoral district, what are some of the burning issues that constituents would have mentioned to you that they would like to see addressed in this new electoral term?
The biggest issue is employment. It seems no matter how many people we employ, we still can't break the back of it. And that continues to be the major challenge, maybe across the island. the question really is, how do we build out a private sector in Tobago that takes up that those groups of people who continue to remain employed and the type of employment that the people want. Part of the challenge as well is that people want a certain type of employment and we reject all others. And so there's some education to take place. There is, of course, a need for training in the trades, construction and engineering trades. We have too many persons leaving the school system and not being able to, as my mother would say, go out and make yourself a man. Because the opportunities are few and far between. The tourism sector is still trying to regain its footing and strength after COVID. We still have trials with CAL and local tourism from Trinidad and actual flights and international flights coming in. So rebuilding the Tobago that we met in the 4 years that we've had, I think we've gone a long way along that pathway to demonstrate to the people on the island that, listen, we are about ensuring that your business and your needs are being met. And I think the people will show their appreciation next week, Monday.
I know there's always the concern during the tenure that residents would say they don't see the area representative. How did you maintain communication with your district during that time to ensure that they felt seen and heard by you?
It's a time management challenge. Walking the district while being a secretary, I think there's an expectation in Tobago that representatives should walk every month, every week, and remain on the ground, as we say, and stay in touch with the people. It is a major challenge for most representatives, but we did a lot of walks. We've held meetings at the community centers and so on, and we've tried our best to reach the people. We've had an open door policy at the office. We've advertised our opening hours, and a lot of people came. We've had outreaches. We have had Christmas parties, hamper giveaways, and we did the best that we can to remain in touch with the people. And I think if I'm to score myself where that is concerned, I'm going to give myself a passing grade.
You say a passing grade, but I want a number out of 10.
A number out of 10?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't score myself, Akinabi, but I'm sure the people will demonstrate what type of representative I was in the last 4 years.
Okay, so you've stated a number of things that you've done for your area, your electoral district. But in your walks, were there any issues that persons would have raised with you that they were a bit disappointed that you may not have been able to tackle or anything like that in the last 4 years, or anything that you personally felt as though you may not have been able to tackle, or something that you've now seen that you want to tackle in the next 4 years?
There are because of our topography, we have drainage and retaining wall challenges around the island. There's no difference in my district. I think going down Providence Road, there's some people on the right-hand side with a massive drain at the back that's eroding their property. We thought we could fix that drain and support their properties and so on. When you go up to Providence Road, going back up to Mongrace, there's a lady whose house is on a precipice next to the river, to the water course as well, that needs a massive retaining wall. So there's some challenges like that, but those are the two in my mind that were big enough to say, hey, this is something you should attack. At the division, we've framed the policy for retaining walls, and we are trying to see whether we could limit the policy to retaining walls on the road side instead of behind properties, because the demand for retaining wall construction is extremely high. But next term that would come out, and we would see how we can assist persons trying to build and all of that. I think that kind of support, retention support, retaining wall support is probably the biggest challenge that I have heard. The people want help with everything, but I think that infrastructurally, that's the biggest concern. One of the educational things that was mentioned to me is that persons want to see almost a trade school in the area, and so there is a since the UNC back in the day had this secondary education for all and closed on the trade schools and youth camps and so on, there has been a gap that needs to be filled, and that's something we were looking at. I had a conversation with Mr. Kwaku, for example, who tells me that the persons who are now heading the electrical inspectorate in Trinidad and Tobago both went to his school. So there are opportunities in the technical area that students must begin to look at, especially with this AI challenge that we are going to face in the next few years.
Very interesting, Mr. James. Now, at a recent Tobago's People's Party meeting, you mentioned that this election is about accountability and financial responsibility, and you cited the contracts that were awarded. And the past THA Chief Secretary Ansel Dennis and the Secretary for Infrastructure at the time, KCD Veens. And I want to ask you the question, I think it's also the question that some of the members of the public are asking, is why was it important that you brought this to the forefront now?
There is a kind of hypocrisy that is pervading Tobago, where people do all kinds of things and then come back to the public and pretend as if, well, they have done nothing, and they could come and thief our plans of Scarborough and put it in a manifesto. They could come back and pretend that they are this sanctum of holiness. The reality is that what we've met in the THA is a mountain of corruption, guided by Mr. Dennis, every division, and I think while we want to run a kind of a clean campaign, there is a point in time when we need to remind the public that this is a choice you really have, whether you want to go back to that contractor mafia madness in Tobago while they supported the PNM in Trinidad, or you want to go forward with the TPP. And I think it was good to highlight at least some.
Mr. James, people would say that you're using the issue as a political weapon to attack your opponents, and that there may not be really any meat to the accusation of corruption. What about these contracts? Do you say it signals that some sort of misbehavior took place?
Whenever I have come to the public, I've always come with receipts. There is no issue that what I have presented, in fact, factual information. We have a situation where a sitting secretary and a chief secretary allowed a division to issue 25 contracts to one individual for very poorly described works with no details. Just decide that this is the value for this work and I'm giving it to party X. And somebody sat down and went through those contracts and awarded them. There's no evidence of tendering, no evidence of anything. So if the public feels that that is not misbehavior, then the public feels so. But what I presented are in fact the facts. And I'm sure on the screens that night, we saw the contracts, we saw the descriptions, we saw the value. It's not me, Trevor James, saying so. The facts are in black and white, and sometimes red.
So I want to stick on this contracts issue. We have, for a long time in Tobago, spoken about the THA hiring Tobagonians to work in Tobago as much as they possibly can, hiring Tobago contractors to do infrastructural works across Tobago. And you could correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I am aware, there is only one company in Tobago that does road resurfacing as a service. It can be argued, let me know if you agree with this argument, it can be argued that since this one Tobago contractor is the only person that does the road resurfacing in Tobago, and we want to keep the money in Tobago, then the logic should follow that they get the contracts. Is that something that you believe would have guided the decision to give these contracts to that individual?
The premise for the question, firstly, the conversation about Tobago contractors and Trinidad contractors is in fact a new thing. The history of the PNM in Tobago is replete with examples all throughout their tenure of major works going to non-Tobago contractors. That's a first misnomer. And I can go through a litany of them, right? The biggest, of course, being when they gave the hotel, the hospital to one of Rowley friends, till he almost had the Integrity Commission on his back and came to court because the material moved from the hospital to his property. That was his friend. The P&M contractor, the problem really in the P&M people's mind is that only P&M people must get work. And that's really what the conversation is about. It's been masked in South of the Caroni and Trinidad and Tobago. And really, we had Foster Cummins building a fishing facility in Tobago, a relatively small contract. So this conversation about Tobago contractors is a new thing since they have lost office. Now, it's also not true that there is only one contractor who is Tobago registered has built roads in Tobago. That's also not true. We've had Siram here since in the 80s. Building roads, Siram repaired the road along the highway under the same THA. So that's not true that this is a Tobago contractor. Siram has been here. You don't think that he's a Tobagonian because he's Indian.
No, I don't think that he's a Tobagonian because he's born in Trinidad.
So when do you become...
He's a Trinidadian company that has a branch in Tobago.
When do you become a Trinidadian and a Tobagonian?
Well, if the money given to Siram in the Tobago branch of
not
Siram,
given, people tender,
well, I mean contracted, sorry. If they
people
contracted,
tender out works if the system is working the way it should. Government departments issue tenders and award contracts based on the responses that they get.
Okay, so if the Tobago arm of Siram wins a contract...
If Mr. Dennis is saying that they handpick a Tobagonian and give him a work, then that is severely illegal. So the question is based on that, on this THA giving a Tobagonian a contract, because the only qualification that he's Tobagonian, then we are wanting to head down a very...
So then how do we balance? How do we get to that point of balancing? Because one of the problems we're going to have constantly, particularly with infrastructure contracts and contractors in Tobago, is that they're not going to have the capacity or the experience of Trinidadian contractors who have access to larger contracts in Trinidad to compete. So when you want to do major infrastructural projects in Tobago, they just don't have the capacity as Trinidadian contractors would, and they would almost always lose the bids if we leave the bids wide open to whoever. So
you're suggesting that we have a control mechanism in the tendering process?
That's
what you're suggesting? That's what the people are suggesting?
I don't know if that's what the people are suggesting. I'm asking you, what is the resolution to an issue like that? Because while we want to make it legal and fair for all in Trinidad and Tobago, we cannot ignore the fact that we need to have some sort of mechanism to encourage Tobagonian contractors to make money.
Theoretically, I'll get to that, but I want to say that since we've been in office, a Tobago contractor got a massive contract in South Trinidad. I didn't hear one Trinidad contractor complain. But that is an aside. Now, if we are to build the Tobago that we want, certainly there needs to be a time for capacity development. I would agree to that. But we have been at this business in the modern THA, certainly in the P&M time, for 21 years. And if in 21 years you couldn't build capacity in Tobago contractors, why is there an expectation that in 4 years we could do that? If we are still making the point that somehow is a capacity gap, as you are suggesting, and we need to take special measures to ensure that things remain in Tobago, then somehow, somewhere, there has been a gap that has not been filled in 21 years. Now, clearly, the projects that have been making the wrongs under the P&M and so on are projects that we wanted to bring private money into Tobago. Where we wanted a contractor to come and say, listen, we can build this thing and we will be paid 9 months later, 18 months later after the project is completed. And some of the projects in the Tobago context are sizable contracts. No Tobago contractor wanted to take that on. And that is just the reality. When they come and complain through their political party that the men get the work. Or maybe we should do what they did, give a contractor 2 feet of work here and next one another 2 feet along a road so that the money could be split up. You can't build a project like that. And so across the TG, under my division, we issued 40 contracts to Tobago contractors. The Division of Education every year in the school repair program give out several contracts to Tobago contractors. The Division of Health. The problem is that there are 2 or 3 contractors who've been so in the bosom of the other party that they can get the members of the party to propagate this foolishness that Tobago Trinidad thing. If they wanted to tender for a project of a certain size and bring their own money and take the risk and wait, then we do have a problem. Those are the 4 contracts that we attempted to execute in that manner. I didn't hear anybody complaining that Rowley gave the airport contract to a Chinese. I didn't hear anybody complain when the Chinese subcontract the local content clause to Warner's Construction and Warner's recontracted to them. I didn't hear anybody complaining. Because this is a philosophy that they keep pushing, that they could do anything and nobody else can do nothing. And we must reject that soundly in Tobago.
All right, Mr. James, we have to go for a short break, viewers, and when we come back, we continue our conversations with Mr. James. Maybe we might stay on this issue of contractors. We might move on to other issues. You'll only know when we come back from the break, so do us a favor. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back after these short messages.
The following is a paid political advertisement.
Tobago is we. Tobago is all our we.
The Anchor holds. Join the TPP family on Monday, January 5th for 2 power-packed public meetings at 6 p.m. at the Blackrock Hard Court. Come hear your candidate for Plymouth Black.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships. It's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
Is simple. The Elections and Boundaries Commission advises that before Election Day, you should receive your poll card in the mail. Open it to find the address of your polling station. Keep the poll card safe and take it with you on Election Day. If you did not receive your poll card in the mail, you can still vote. A poll card will be prepared for you at your polling station. You can also visit the EBC's website at www.ebctt.com or call the hotline at 785-8206 or 785-8211 to find your polling station. On Election Day, you should check the list posted outside your polling station for your name and number. Where there are several polling stations on the same compound, an information officer will direct you to your polling station. Polling agents who act on behalf of candidates are there to witness the process. If your name is on the list of electors and you have a valid ID card, you join the green line. All other persons, including physically incapacitated, blind, or visually impaired persons, should join the red line. You are required to sign your poll card in front of the poll clerk. The deputy presiding officer examines your hands and fingers. If there is no evidence of electoral ink stains, you're issued a ballot paper. The deputy presiding officer also demonstrates how to mark and fold a ballot paper using the guidance ballot and how to vote with the X stamp. The ballot paper is folded to display the initials of the deputy presiding officer and the polling station number. A blind, visually impaired, or physically incapacitated person is allowed to vote with the assistance of a companion. In the privacy of the voting booth, you vote by placing an X at the right of your candidate's symbol. If you make a mark other than an X, your ballot will be rejected and not counted. Fold your ballot paper as you were previously shown by the deputy presiding officer and proceed to the officer in charge of the ballot box. Display your folded ballot paper with the initials of the deputy presiding officer and polling station number. You will then be required to dip your finger in the electoral ink before you are allowed to place your ballot paper in the ballot box. If you refuse to dip your finger in the electoral ink, you will not be allowed to vote. When you've finished with this process, wipe off the excess ink. Any problem you encounter in the polling station should be brought to the attention of the presiding officer. To vote is your right. Exercise it. A message from the Elections and Boundaries Commission, your partners in democracy.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We continue our conversations with Mr. Trevor James, and we were having quite a spirited debate about contracts in Tobago and the situation with Tobago contractors. And I just want to touch on that some more as we continue our conversations. Mr. James, before I was talking about the whole issue, the whole philosophy of keeping the THA's contract, the monies given out in contracts within the Tobago economy, within Tobago businesses. And I know that before you entered office, you were a very big proponent of keeping Tobago contractors employed and keeping them with, giving them the, awarding them the contracts, I should say, after the tendering process, awarding them the contracts and keeping that.
I think you want me to be like Dennis,
Keeping that business.
I think you're trying your best.
Let me get the question out. And one thing I like about you, Mr. James, is that you're one of those politicians that we can have these very frank conversations with, and that people don't have to be afraid that they offend you and that kind of thing. So I want to know, now that you just stated that sometimes you give contracts to Trinidadians, you give contracts to Tobagonians, depending on the type of project. Or do you see an incongruence between the philosophy you held before you were in office and now that you are in office? Is there a reality of being in office that made you to change your philosophy?
No, I think generally that's my philosophy. We however have decisions to make as a government, and we could bury our heads in the sand and say, listen, we can build this whole island by ourselves based on our allocation from Port of Spain, distributed in the way that it is being distributed, where Tobago has a mountain of debt when we come in. There are situational things that when you're placed in office that you have to make a decision on. And the only decision we made was to find a way to bring non-government money into the economy and achieve some balance between what I call the maintenance infrastructural works and real development works. And that is what we've tried to do. And if I'm being judged for that by PNM people, to say that everything we have done, we should have found a way to give it to one of their supporters, then I'll be judged for that. But the reality is that the majority of the people appreciate the fact that in 4 years, we could have built a road that people in the 1980s wanted to build. And we found a way, despite all the opposition from PNM people, to be able to do it. You know, that's the fact. The fact is that we have come into office and we have built out more roads than the PNM probably built in their 21 years. New roads. Those are the facts. Could it have been done only by Tobago contractors using THA money? No. And so we made the best decision to be able to move the island forward, to be able to demonstrate to the people in Tobago that your government have to make decisions to open the island for you and for your children.
Mr. James, you spoke about capacity building for Tobago contractors so that they could take on these larger projects. You also spoke about their inability to wait for the deferred payment. If I'm being correct, you all had some agreements with deferred payments and they couldn't take it, so you pass it on to Trinidadian contractors who could do that.
No,
kind of arrangement.
You're phrasing your questions in a way that is not what I am saying.
That is why I'm seeking clarity on if I have it right or if I don't have it right.
What I have said and what I would repeat is that we needed to find a way to bring people money into the government coffers so that we could build something. That's what I said, essentially rephrasing it. Now, if there are Tobago contractors who wanted to participate in that, then we invited some of them and they refused to submit. That's just, and some of the same, supposedly the big ones, that keep complaining today.
Okay. So in terms of capacity building, what plans do you have what are some of the plans that you have envisioned to help build that capacity of Tobago contractors that you spoke about earlier?
And I don't think I could say that we have any special plan. I think the procurement legislation now is a major hurdle and a major challenge. There are limits to the kinds of clauses you can put in the tender document that limit who, or gives a bias to some group. There's a difficult situation with this new law. So I don't know. It's something that we'll have to brainstorm to see how we can have this contracts go to specific groups of people by, I suppose, amending the clause that deal with locality and that kind of stuff. It can be done, but for large works, people are going to challenge your decision to do that, given that we still have one country.
And finally, final question. Given the plans that you all have espoused for the next 4 years, it may all not happen within the 4-year term, but what are some of those projects that you think that the THA could realistically complete within those 4 years?
I think we have brought together in the blueprint a series of projects that are intended to achieve specific goals, and one of the goals is to have infrastructural sustainability. We've always wanted to build out a Tobago that is self-sufficient outside of this limited budget that we get from Port of Spain. Mm-hmm. To do that, we need a massive private sector injection of funds in Tobago. Now, road infrastructure projects, like I said, we have been negotiating with a foreign company to build the Port of Scarborough, and we've been waiting on the government of Trinidad and Tobago to issue the sovereign guarantee. If that is done, we are talking about an injection of hundreds of millions of US dollars into the economy in Tobago in a self-sustaining project, meaning a project that pays for itself. Would I be blamed that we give away $1 billion contract to a non-Tobagonian? Maybe the PNM go cry about that. But the opportunities, every contract we've done have been, major parts of it have been subcontracted to smaller Tobago contractors. And everybody knows this. Smith Lewis and Nelson make a mountain of money on the road. Spell make a mountain of money on the road. Paid for by a Trinidadian. So we had to get the thing right. The interchange project to move people out of Scarborough, if we have we're building our economy on a transient population coming into Tobago. Our population has been migrating out, and we've been stuck between 55 and 65,000 since I was in secondary school in 1980 when that census was done. We've been stuck there. In the meantime, Barbados has 280,000 people, Grenada has 170-something thousand people, and we are stuck at 60 or 70, 60 or 65, trying to eke out an economy on that. So if we bring, as our vision is, we bring 2-3 cruise ships simultaneously in Scarborough. We're talking big cruise ships, and we have 10-12,000 people additionally in Scarborough. We had to move them out of Scarborough. We have essentially one road in Scarborough. And so we had to find a way now to put the plan in place so that that could happen. People coming from the north, stuck in traffic up to Neil and Massey every morning. And people coming along Highmore, stuck in traffic past where's the food spot? The supermarket? Cost cutters. And so we have to plan, and at the division, we've restructured the division so that we have a design and planning component, an engineering component. And some of the projects you see going up are based on the work that they have been doing. It's the first time in Tobago where the division can actually put out designs that the division has developed in 4 years. Mm-hmm. And that's what we've tried to do. We've tried to make a plan for Tobago that Tobago sees Tobagonian people working for Tobago and planning for the future. So the interchange and that we're trying to build, all that could be done in less than 4 years. The new roundabout system, the peanut roundabout at the food hub coming down to Orange Hill and that corner by Miss V there. Mm-hmm. All of that, you come down Orange Hill now, you can't get to the gas station, you can't get to Shore Park, because there has been no vision and there's been no engineering thought going into what we've been doing, and at the division, that's what I've tried to instill. So we've come up with these solutions and we've advertised them to the public to say, listen, this is where we must go. And even if another Secretary of Infrastructure comes, whenever, these are good plans that we had. We are coming along Garden Side, and we're in a car park in Garden Side, and we go on to get to Carrington Street, and we have to make a whole circuit of almost 2 miles to get to something that is 400 feet away. So it's inefficient, it's unproductive. And so we have to demonstrate the plans. We built that road from Smithfield. Mm-hmm. When we brought the carnival back to Scarborough, that was the only savior we had. Although the teachers in RC cuss me, I would take piece of the fence and a this and a that. That's the only savior for them. People are going to bishops. And so we have to be able to think ahead, and we have to be able to support those who are putting out the vision going forward, otherwise we will be stuck complaining about a pothole when Barbados have a mountain of potholes, but they have 5 cruise ships in the port. Grenada, 3 cruise ships in the port. St. Lucia, 7 cruise ships in the port, but the road rough more than a greater. And the people understand the vision that you have to bring money into your economy. And while we do this maintenance things as slowly as we can, and that's just the reality, whether Tobagonians believe that the most important thing is a smooth road while the economy stagnates is a vision we have to keep explaining and explaining and explaining. And those who are resisting are those who want to keep us stagnated. If you listen to them clearly, we are arguing for our entire 200-mile easy. They are arguing for none. Just give me some more money, let me fix the thing on the ground. We arguing to ensure that nobody in Port of Spain can come and take any piece of land they want in Tobago. They say accept the bill the way it is. So we have to present the vision, we have to articulate it, we have to explain it over and over and over. Because sometimes I feel the short-sightedness of the few in the PNM is getting to the people generally. And so we have this education where that is concerned to continue to take place.
Now when we talk about contractors taking work and stuff like that, when irregularities are identified, especially with your administration and while you were spearheading the division of infrastructure, is it that these contractors will recall, will projects reassessed? What was the process like, especially in terms of accountability and dealing with that situation, especially if it was alleged to be wrongdoing?
We had an audit for only, there are 3 sections of 3 areas, 3 programs, let me get it correct, 3 programs that the Division of Infrastructure under Mr. Devines and Mr. Dennis as Chief Secretary issued contracts under. 3. We audited 1. And the general conclusion of the auditor is that all the projects were overpriced by 60%. That is not me. That is an independent auditor saying so. Now, do we have the money to prosecute that in the court and go to the Privy Council? It's a decision again that the THA has to take. Do we go after these people who perpetrated this thing? And do we say, hey, we're going to spend this $20-30 million, maybe more, on a legal battle to prove that this thing was corrupt and so on? It's a decision to be taken, and we're going to be judged for that decision as well. But no doubt, the conclusion of the audit is the conclusion of the audit. Unfortunately, what I presented in Moria was not audited. So that's a different program. So that didn't come to the public. And when I was going around on my lives, that is one of the things that I didn't want to do just in case. But these people going on too much. They're too hypocritical. They're too hypocritical. And so we had to bring balance to the thing.
All right, Mr. James Ronan, thank you for coming in and speaking to us about your election campaign so far and this very pressing issue of contractors in Tobago. Viewers, unfortunately, we have come to the end of our program, but the Tobago Updates programming continues. We have GMT up next, so do us a favor. Share the live, share the live, share the live. GMT is up next.
World AIDS Day has been recognized since 1988, and over the years it has grown into a meaningful global tradition. It brings together governments, health workers, advocates, families, youths, everyone, because the fight against HIV is something we all share responsibility for.
So, World AIDS Day is important because we need to continually remember that we are still dealing with HIV and AIDS in Trinidad and specifically in Tobago. This is an opportunity for us to continue the discussion. This is an opportunity to remind the population that, we have these STIs that are running around. If we are not safe, we will not be healthy. So I appreciate this opportunity, and I particularly appreciate the fact that we are focusing on the young people for this World AIDS Day, because that is what is really needed to change the culture that's required.
My experience was eccentric to say the very least. Our teacher, she worked wonderfully, even with disruptions into the class. She worked with them instead of circling around them or going over them. She made them part of the lesson and made the learning experience beautiful. I hope that it serves to actually better educate the people, to get rid of the old people stigma that we got from our parents, grandparents, and have a truer life with this knowledge and use this as a template to go forward for other problems that we may have.
I am white and I represent Hope. Hope says your diagnosis is not your destiny, and today we stand on that truth, and we aim to change at least one mindset every time we speak.
Empathy reminds us they are with not dying from it.
But when me know it's like everybody there don't and no chance for it to me.
So tell me, where you really learn this ignorance to go and tell him you cannot give someone HIV by just touching them? So your friend running off and talking about that is not true.
What we were trying to discuss was the dissatisfaction with moral ed in the high schools, because we feel like they're not teaching enough, especially when it comes to preventing stigma against certain groups of people.
Peer training programs are programs that have always worked because you need people who are similar to design what the message should be and to share those messages to their counterparts. And that is in essence what peer training is. So having these individuals who are part of these, these technical vocational schools be the ones to get the correct information is really a good step to ensure that they pass that information on to the people who they are closest with. We each need to do our part. We each need to ensure that our health is comprehensive. That includes our mental health, that includes our physical health, that includes our emotional health, and our sexual health is critical to that. So don't forget it. It's not a taboo thing to talk about. It's not a taboo thing to actively work on. And I think we can do it.
Choose your choices wisely still, but at the end of the day, you don't regret a simple one of them. Because you are tomorrow.
I want to start by sincerely thanking the members of the Baby Friendly Hospital Initiative for the hard work that you guys have put in place to allow us to have the kind of accreditation that we now have.
These boxes contain essential items for babies, giving every child a good start. Ladies and gentlemen, I am elated to be part of this beneficial move.
So tell me, how will this baby box help you?
It will help in a lot because of the stuff inside of it. For instance, the manual pump. You could put it in your bag and walk with it. And the bag, you could open it out and put the baby in it to change. So it's a very good idea, and I'm very thankful for it.
Well, I think the baby box in general will benefit all new moms, but for me in particular, I like the aspect of the breast pump because I personally want to breastfeed for a long time. So that's actually my favorite item in the box, but everything else I think would be useful, from the clothes and all the other goodies that was given today. The box would assist my family and I, first of all, with the basic needs that baby would need. The one thing I'm actually grateful for is the breast pump because I was about to purchase one. Since I'm exclusively breastfeeding, I want that the father and other family members to be a part of my journey. And I know that this is breastfeeding month. It is, yes it is.
Today's launch and unveiling are steps in the right direction.
We start by the mummies and the daddies giving birth in a baby-friendly facility. And then we send you home with a little bit more support.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
It's a
welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Chanel Felix. And guys, you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. This morning, we jump straight ahead into our conversations. And to chat with me this morning, I'm talking with Stacey Herbert, the IDA candidate for Puku Mount Pleasant. And of course, we'll be chatting about the upcoming THA election. Good morning, Mrs. Herbert, and welcome.
Good morning, Chanel. Thank you for having me.
I'm not sure if it's just me, but I'm unable to hear your audio at this time. Are you able to hear me? Well,
I am hearing you. The internet is a little bit, but I am hearing you.
All right, I can hear you clearly now. Excellent. Well, Stacey, we are in the thick of the election season with only a few short days to go. How are you feeling, and what are you expecting from this upcoming THA elections come Monday, 12th of January? While we get our audio assessed, this morning will be chatting with a number of candidates. In addition to chatting with Stacey this morning, we'll also be chatting with Dr. Faith Brebner, and after we'll be having that conversation. Good morning, Stacey, and welcome back.
Yes, thank you.
All right, I believe that there's still a short technical issue. So guys, we're going to take a quick break right here and we'll be back after this. See you soon.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules, or if you are having a cooking day off.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
A brand new dawning as the passion start to rise.
welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Guys, we continue our conversations and we are chatting here this morning with one of the prospective candidates for the district of Buku Mount Pleasant in the upcoming Tobago House of Assembly election, Mrs. Stacey Herbert. Good morning and welcome back.
Good morning, Chanel. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. Well, I can hear you so much better now. Now, you are going up against two men in this election. You're the lone woman in the race. You're going up against the political leader of the People's National Movement Tobago Council, as well as Mr. Keegan Denoon from the Tobago People's Party. Tell us what are you expecting from this upcoming elections, and what has the reaction been from persons within the district thus far?
Well, what I'm expecting is that the IDA and through myself is able to partner with the people of Canaan, Buku, and Mount Pleasant, including Bethany. You know, in this thing, that can we partner to move Tobago forward, and can we partner to move Canaan, Buku, Mount Pleasant, and Bethany? That's the conversation. That's what I'm expecting. There's a willingness to listen, and there's a willingness for partnership, right? And I'm very excited by that. I'm very excited by that because I'm not. Are you hearing me, Chanel?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yes. So I'm very excited by the fact that there are people who are willing to partner so far, and it's been an ongoing conversation, and I'm very, very
You seem to be
excited.
a bit new to the
It's
political game in Tobago. Am I correct? What are you offering to the people of this district in this upcoming election?
Right. So as I said, we talking about partnership with the people. We're talking about empowerment of the community, right? If we look at what has been happening for the past how many years, it seems to be like a cycle, a rinse and repeat cycle. And somehow inside of that, you have the people feeling like if development has not really happened in this space, right? Sidelined in the development. You have people in Bethany and Mount Pleasant saying, listen, they forget all about us. And inside of Buku, you're hearing there needs to be some more focus, things falling apart, the economy isn't moving, lots of things missing. So somehow there's a feeling of inequity where it comes to the development of the space. That's one of the things. Inside of there also have development that happens that does not consult with the people, right? So what the idea is saying, let us begin development rather than from a top-down approach. Let's do it from the bottoms up, from a bottoms-up approach. And that is what we're talking about where we say community development, community empowerment, I should say. What we're proposing is that we use the existing Tobago House of Assembly legislation to make a legal framework that makes the community an extension of the Tobago House of Assembly, right? So when you do that, you create that legal framework. Therefore, the community becomes the extension, and then you can actually allocate funds community by community rather than constituency by constituency. So then you have people who, everybody has an opportunity to be able to have a piece of, right? If we look at the budget that comes to Tobago, and if you look at the number of communities in Tobago, if you count them, you'll get about 40 communities. What we're saying, let's look at each community and allocate a specific amount. We're saying a baseline of $25 million. And if you multiply 25 million by 40, with about $1 billion. inside of that legal framework that we're talking about is something called ACE councils. Councils are organizations legally.
Seem to have been having a bit of a connectivity issue there. Stacey, are you able
Yeah.
to hear me clearly?
Yes, I am hearing you.
Yes, I'm sorry to cut you there. Just jumping ahead into IDA's manifesto for the upcoming elections.
Yes.
Is there a physical
Yes.
copy of a manifesto that we can access?
Yeah, we can send it to you digitally at this moment, but we can make the arrangements for you to have it print. What we're doing also is within this week, we put a social media page and see what we're saying, so you could understand the manifesto bit by bit. And I've been trying to explain to you, you'll be able to understand it better. Yes, and go to Innovative Democratic Alliance Facebook page, or you could go to my personal Facebook page, and where I share from there, and it's also linked to the Innovative Democratic Alliance Facebook page. So we can have the conversation from there, and the people could actually understand what we are saying.
Right. And, you identify that within the community, you see inequity, persons complain about a lack of development. What would you say is the key issue within that particular area?
The thing is, when you're going to develop an area, when area is going to be developed, you have to get the idea from the people as regards what development looks like, what the priority in the area is, in order to be able to inform what you do, right? So when you go in and you decide, I am going to build a road, and the people does not feel like if that is the biggest priority. I'm not saying a road, but it's just an example. Your road, but it doesn't necessarily address the issue that the community has, right? Or what the most pressing issue is, right? In order for us to not have those issues or reduce those kinds of issues, that's why we're saying community empowerment, and have that development happen bottom up. Don't decide for the community, let the community decide what is, and empower them to be able to do it.
Understood. Well, Stacey, is there, even as we wrap up the conversation this morning, is there anything that you want to say to persons within that district of Buku, Mount Pleasant, and Canaan this morning?
Yes, I want to say to the people of Canaan, Buku, Mount Pleasant, Bethany, the entire area, that let's begin to look at the IDA as an option. Look at what we're saying. We have your vote truthfully. We do not expect blind loyalty. We expect partnership. Listen to what we're saying, and let's begin to build this thing together. We're not promising, we're actually showing you a framework as to how this is going to happen. Perspective, and let us vote to partner with that, to get that done, right? We're not asking you to vote IDA or vote Stacey because you know Stacey or anything like that. We're asking you, let's look at this issue so that we don't have a continued rinse and repeat. We are in a situation, Chanel, that if we look at the tourism sector, we say we are tourism island, but the tourism is dead. How are we going to recover given the geopolitical issues that we have around us, given the under-education issues that we have in our communities? We're talking about diversification. And in the agricultural sector, because agriculture is a hot topic, we have 89% of the people who are employed in the agricultural sector who are underdeveloped or undereducated. How are we going to diversify in agriculture? And then if we say, well, we're going to do it in construction, right? 79% of the people employed in the construction sector are undereducated. How do we diversify in construction? We're talking about, we're looking at and guest houses. We have 78% of the people employed in that sector diversify. We have these numbers.
All right. Right.
Yeah. So the conversation is, let us look at where we are at present. We are at the bottom. Let's look at how we can build from the bottom and come up. Right. Else we'll continue to have this rinse and repeat cycle all the time.
Understood. Stacey, we want to thank you so much for being with us this morning. We're so sorry about that connectivity issue that you've been battling with this morning. We hope to have had you in studio to mitigate against those type of technical challenges.
Yes, I would welcome
also
that.
apologize to our audience for any inconveniences. We want to also say all the best to you in the upcoming elections.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thank
we're going to take a
Chanel.
quick break right here, and we'll be back after this. See you soon.
The Caribbean is more than just a place. It's a spirit, resilient, vibrant, and full of possibility. Rooted in connection, driven by community. It's who we are at the heart of everything we do. For over 150 years, we've been right here, invested in the Caribbean, its people, and its progress. And today, we're going even further. Liberty Business, rooted in the Caribbean, committed to you.
Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. We continue with our conversations with some of the candidates that would be contesting the 2026 Tobago House of Assembly elections. This morning, I'm continuing conversations and chatting with Dr. Faith Brebner, who is also one of those contestants in this elections. And she is the incumbent. Tell the people good morning. I know they're always happy to see you here on Tobago Updates. A very familiar face. I mean, I guess you could also say you have a contract here, for being here every other week. Talk to us about how the campaign has been coming along thus far.
Thank you. Good morning, and yes, it is wonderful being here again, as I usually am. The campaign has been pretty good. We have been going out, doing two main things: giving stewardship for what we've done in terms of letting the people of Tobago know that the last 4 years were not wasted. They were difficult years, but even in the middle of the difficult period, we were still able to accomplish quite a bit for the people of Tobago. And we have been telling them what we hope to accomplish if they give us the opportunity again in the next 4 years. The reception has been pretty good. Most of the people who I have come into contact with have basically said, yes, we understand that you've only gotten one term. We see where you are going, and we would like to give you the opportunity to continue. So I am going into this election pretty positive, pretty confident that the people of Tobago will give us that second term at least.
Right, and you are vying for the Belgarden Glamorgan seat. Persons are saying, okay, If you had done such an excellent job in your first term, why do you feel the need to have to campaign so hard this time around? What do you say to that?
So we are not taking anything for granted. We are campaigning because we are up against an organization that is evil and wicked, and in many instances very liar. And yes, I am saying that. So we need to guard against individuals hearing these things and believing them when we know for a fact that they are not true. So our campaign really is going out and reminding people that these are the facts. These are the things we said we would do. These are the things we've been able to accomplish. Some of them we have not been able to accomplish, and we've been pretty honest about those things. But reminding them that yes, we think we deserve another chance, and it takes every single one of them to give us that chance. Because really, election is won on election day. On the 12th of January, every single Tobagonian whose name is listed on the registration list is equal on January 12th. Even if we are not equal any other day, we are all equal on January 12th. And we are asking everyone to use that opportunity to give the Tobago People's Party an opportunity to continue the good work that we have started.
Do you think that you have had a good balance of district or community-related work and secretarial duties or work within the Division of Health?
So that question is one that is a difficult one, because balancing both is difficult. Any secretary or assistant secretary who tells you balancing both is easy, well, I don't know what world they are living in, because it does take quite a bit. And if you recognize, the division that I run really is equivalent to maybe 3 ministries in Trinidad. It's health, wellness, which is the public health component, and social protection, the entire social network. And I did have to balance that with ensuring that my constituents are heard, my constituents are seen, and that they receive the kind of support that they need. And that's why in many instances they would tell you that they would call me and they would say, when can I come and see you? And I would say, okay, you have me on the phone right now. Let's have the conversation. How can I help you? And within an hour, within a day, within 2 days, they were able to get whatever they needed resolved, versus waiting until maybe next week when I have my office day to come and see me. And that is the kind of relationship I've been trying to build with the district. Most people who know me know that my phone is almost an appendage. It's part of my being. It's always with me. And it is because I really need to continue having that kind of direct communication with those people who I represent. There are things that I don't think I did as well as I should have. I may not have communicated some of our challenges as well as I should have, but I think far and large, we've been able to balance it, even though it's been a very difficult process to balance both portfolios.
You had what some persons may deem to be a resounding win in the last election in terms of the margin between you and your opponent. Do you expect such a large margin this time around?
So that large margin can only happen when the people of Belgan, Glamorgan, and the district, even though it's called Belgan, Glamorgan, it starts at Goldsboro by the bridge and goes all the way to Kendall Farm School Junction. That's the boundary. That win can only happen if those people come out and vote. And from the results that I am getting so far, from the pledges that we are getting so far when we go out and canvass and campaign, I do think we will have a similar margin. My opponent is a lovely, wonderful person. I actually know him very well. I've worked with him in some areas within the district. But I also think that the people recognize the amount of work that I have done and would like me to continue doing that work. So I hope that the margin is as large in this election.
Your colleague, Trevor James, who was just on set with us on the platform, I think it was Sunday night, in Mariah.
In Mariah.
He mentioned some corruption within DIQUD, his division, under the previous administration, where he accused the previous, temporary chief secretary in Ansel Dennis of awarding 25 contracts in one day and bypassing procurement regulations. What do you say to the persons who say, why wait until an election to bring this type of information to the public?
So we have had to spend the last 4 years doing very difficult things. fixing the madness that we met, which in and of itself took time and effort, and that was a learning curve. We've had to take the time battling the opposition that has come up against us. And when I say opposition, by no means do I mean the minority leader or the minority. I'm talking about the fact that police were running into our homes and that kind of opposition. We've had to use the limited resources that we've had to do all of the things that we needed to do, which the volume seems to continue to multiply. And in the middle of that, we still had to go back and find this information and bring it to the public. So I don't know that there's a good time or there's a bad time to identify corruption that has happened, particularly since those on the other side tried to spin a narrative that says we are the ones who are corrupt, we are the ones who are doing these things, when in fact I have recognized that every single thing they have accused us of, it is because they have done it, they are doing it, or they plan to do it themselves. As a matter of fact, some of the things when they say it, I think to myself, where would you even come up with an idea like that? Only to realize when you go into the annals that they are the ones who actually did that before. That is why they could have accused us, because they assume that what they did, we will come and do the same thing. So I am thankful that my colleague, Secretary Trevor James, was able to unearth that, because when I heard it, I thought to myself, that is sheer madness to give out 25 contracts or so in one day to a single entity worth over $58 million, when these are the same people who've been trying to say to Tobagonians that they have not gotten anything and they are being blacklisted and all of that. And the fact is, what they are not saying to Tobagonians is that they were accustomed to reaping the treasury, to raping the treasury. I would use that word. And because when we came in, we put a halt to those ill practices. That is why they've been coming at us so hard. So I'm glad he was able to present that data.
We heard from the the previous minority leader, Kelvon Morris, stating that, well, he took to his Facebook page to defend what was happening and stating that this is Tobago contractors and they employ Tobagonians and therefore, alluding to the fact that they are the ones who keep the Tobago economy running. What do you say to this type of response?
It is Tobagonians needed to be very conscious of the fact that Kelvon Morris is defending his party's friend getting $58 million worth of contracts, when if they truly wanted to give those contracts to Tobagonians, there are tons of small contractors that they could have given them to, because when you look at each of the contracts, they were relatively small amounts, but because of the volume, it came up to a large volume. They could have given 25 Tobago contractors each of those contracts to spread the wealth and to ensure that it actually gets to the Tobago people. What he is talking about is a kind of trickle-down economics that has never worked. As a matter of fact, the former Prime Minister, who was his political leader, said very clearly that you have to keep making the rich richer, and hopefully the rest of us will get something when you keep making the rich richer. And Kelvon defending that $58 million to one person really falls in line with that same kind of thinking. And that is what we have been fighting against, because we firmly believe that the small contractors do need to get built up so that they can vie for, they can actually get those contracts and get it themselves and not have to get it second hand or third hand from the single person who has been feeding and feeding and feeding. And that is just so unfair. And I hope the people of his district recognize that that is the kind of politics he has been fighting for instead of fighting for them.
Understood. What do you say to the persons who use situations or instances of conversations surrounding the ambulances and the acquisition of property near the Tobago Hospital as an indictment against your leadership?
Certainly. So those people need to recognize that unlike the process that worked to have one contractor get $58 million worth of contracts, the procurement process that was used for the ambulances, that was used for all the other things that the Regional Health Authority has actually stood up to scrutiny. The procurement regulators have been communicating back and forth with the Tobago Regional Health Authority, requesting information about the process that was used and so forth. And the results have been, I'm sure Kelvin would have been the first one to come on television to say if the results were negative on behalf of the Tobago Regional Health Authority. So there is no real comparison. The Tobago Regional Health Authority is built with entities within it, units within it, staffed with professionals who have been doing their job. And I want to thank them for continually doing their job, even though the minority leader and his team has taken every opportunity that they could have taken to attack them and to say that they have done wrong. I want to say to the Tobago Regional Health Authority, I am thankful that each and every one of you have been doing your job, and you're doing your job amazingly well, so that we could have gotten the gains that we have gotten thus far.
What would you say are some of the highlights or some of the high points to your time in leadership thus far in this last term?
So in this last term, I think that the thing that I am most excited about, or gave me the biggest glee, was when I walked into Roxborough Hospital one day at the end of a cataract surgery, and one of the individuals who had just gotten the surgery done, and I think he was there for his review following a couple of days after, he started singing "I Can See Clearly Now." And that to me showed how important something as simple as that, because a cataract surgery is a day surgery. It literally takes maybe 10-15 minutes, and then they go home and they come back in a day or two for a review. But it means that they now have sight, it means they now have independence, it means that their quality of life is now significantly improved. And we have done over 2,000 surgeries, and we are about to start some more, because there are individuals who were already called late last year to be screened, and we are just waiting for the surgeon to come in to actually start doing the surgeries. So I think that is one that has been a definite highlight for me. As relates to social protection, I think that the fact that we've been able to restructure how the unit works. So this is an internal thing that individuals outside may not be seeing, but we are able to rework how the department works, and how the department works with each other, to ensure that when the client comes in, they get the best service and they get a collective, cohesive type of service. There is still work to be done on that. When we digitize the processes, that would be even faster and more efficient, but I'm actually happy. I'm happy about those two.
When we take a look at the presentation that was made by the Chief Secretary on Saturday at the unveiling of the blueprint, I believe that was, what are some of the key areas that you think Tobagonians should particularly be excited about?
Gosh, everything in that blueprint is exciting. From the digitization of the island and how we will move forward. You know, something as simple as ensuring that if you go to a bus shed, you have internet access, and linking that internet access to being able to apply for services. I think that is absolutely critical. The expansion of the development fund to ensure that we help build businesses, because one of the things we recognize is that we came into this Tobago House of Assembly and we recognize that the private sector, coming out of COVID and coming out of all of that, was really weakened, and we needed to find a mechanism to allow them to get the kind of funding to lift themselves back up. So the Tobago House of Assembly is going to continue doing that development fund, where private businesses can come to the THA and in essence get a loan, compared to which would be way easier than if they tried to go to a regular commercial bank to get the kind of funding that they need. So expanding that, I think, is important. Another thing that I think is wonderful is us going into actually implementing that Tobago-centric curriculum in our schools, because there are a lot of us who don't know anything about who we are, our history, and what we teach in school is foreign or other people's history.
history, great history, but their history. We need to take our time to teach our young people our history, our culture, the way we do things. So, for example, at the Tobago is We Festival, for the first time I was stirring Kong Kong tea, and I was there, and the lady was telling me you had to put your waist in it, you know. And what was surprising though is the number of Tobagonians who were coming up to us and saying, "What is that?" Because they had never heard of cassava, in essence, cassava cocoa, Kong Kong tea, and that to me is an indicator of why we need this Tobago-centric curriculum. So I think those three, as I said, the entire blueprint is worth having, and that is why we develop it. But yeah, I'm excited about those three things specifically.
Specifically, what are you saying that Tobagonians should truly look forward to if this TPP administration is given a second opportunity?
So I would frame it from a broader perspective. The Tobago that we know has been, in essence, in stagnation for a while. And that is because, you know, the thing about having one set of leaders or one group of people is that you are not able to get new ways of thinking and new ways of doing things generated. There are actually companies where the CEO is rotated every couple months so that you, in essence, you bring in new blood and new thinking and new thoughts. The Tobago House of Assembly was in that kind of thought processing for quite a while, for 21 years. We have come in a very difficult time, having to deal with COVID, having to deal with the oil spill, having to deal with all of the opposition that we have come against, having to deal with underfunding and so forth. So we now have an opportunity to really say to Tobagonians, this is your jumping off point. This is your time where you can really, really see Tobago actualizing, being the greatest little island on the planet. And that is what we are hoping the average Tobagonian sees, and they are willing to work with us to get to that point in every sphere, in every part of your life, because I see people talking about them not being involved in politics, but every part of your life is affected by politics and is affected by what your government does or does not do. And this is an opportunity to finally take Tobago to that better place.
Understood. Well, we're going to take a quick break right here, and then we'll continue with our conversations right after this. See you soon.
Is simple. The Elections and Boundaries Commission advises that before Election Day, you should receive your poll card in the mail. Open it to find the address of your polling station. Keep the poll card safe and take it with you on Election Day. If you did not receive your poll card in the mail, you can still vote. A poll card will be prepared for you at your polling station. You can also visit the EBC's website at www.ebctt.com or call the hotline at 785-8206 or 785-8211 to find your polling station. On Election Day, you should check the list posted outside your polling station for your name and number. Where there are several polling stations on the same compound, an information officer will direct you to your polling station. Polling agents who act on behalf of candidates are there to witness the process. If your name is on the list of electors and you have a valid ID card, you join the green line. All other persons, including physically incapacitated, blind or visually impaired persons, should join the red line. You are required to sign your poll card in front of the poll clerk. The deputy presiding officer examines your hands and fingers. If there is no evidence of electoral ink stains, you're issued a ballot paper. The deputy presiding officer also demonstrates how to mark and fold a ballot paper using the guidance ballot and how to vote with the X stamp. The ballot paper is folded to display the initials of the deputy presiding officer and the polling station number. A blind, visually impaired or physically incapacitated person is allowed to vote with the assistance of a companion. the privacy of the voting booth, you vote by placing an X at the right of your candidate's symbol. If you make a mark other than an X, your ballot will be rejected and not counted. Fold your ballot paper as you were previously shown by the Deputy Presiding Officer and proceed to the officer in charge of the ballot box. Display your folded ballot paper with the initials of the Deputy Presiding Officer and polling station number. You will then be required to dip your finger in the electoral ink before you are allowed to place your ballot paper in the ballot box. If you refuse to dip your finger in the electoral ink, you will not be allowed to vote. When you've finished with this process, wipe off the excess ink. Any problem you encounter in the polling station should be brought to the attention of the presiding officer. To vote is your right. Exercise it. A message from the Elections and Boundaries Commission, your partners in democracy.
Tobago, the sun is rising, and so are the conversations that matter, from the economy to education, from healthcare to community voices. No spin, no fluff, just facts, truth, and clarity. Join me, Lavian, as we cover the issues that shape our lives, the stories we can't ignore. We bring them to the table and ask the questions you want answered.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
The Caribbean is more than just a place. It's a spirit, resilient, vibrant, and full of possibility. Rooted in connection, driven by community. It's who we are at the heart of everything we do. For over 150 years, we've been right here, invested in the Caribbean, its people, and its progress. And today, we're going even further. Liberty Business, rooted in the Caribbean, committed to you.
Good morning, Tobago, right here on Tobago Updates. As you know, we're in the thick of the election season, meaning there's only a few short days left until the 2026 Tobago House of Assembly election. This morning, we are continuing discussions with Dr. Faith Brebner, who is a representative for Bellegarde and Glamorgan. Good morning and welcome back. What are some of the key issues that you think people in your area are looking to have addressed next time around and are saying, you know, this is a make or break issue for us?
Certainly, there are several of them, and I would like to group them. We have the basic infrastructural issues, the roads, the potholes. My good friend Trevor knows that I call him all the time and complain about the potholes, but that is a larger infrastructural issue where we met roads that just need to be redone completely, and we simply did not have the resources to do those. Then we have the other types of infrastructure like the community interaction types of infrastructure. So we just got the Glamorgan Community Center recommissioned. That has been long-standing. The youth center that is in Pembroke, that is on its way to being handed over. I think most of the actual physical work has been done, so that needs to be handed over. And of course, we have our playing fields that need to be fenced and lit and leveled and so forth, so that the communities can participate in those types of services or in those types of activities. Those are the areas that we hear most about. Talking to individuals on a personal level, employment is a big thing. Employment that does two things. One, allows them to live relatively comfortably, and there are many who wanted to live comfortably by having a secure salary, but also want the opportunity to delve into business, to delve into fishing, to delve into farming and so forth. So they want to be able to marry those two things. And we have to balance being able to give them the opportunity to do that, which is why, for example, I spent quite a bit of those 4 years doing training in the same kind of procurement and proposal writing and financing for your businesses and so forth, to give people the opportunity to do both if they would like to do both. So those are the areas that I think are critical. Those are the areas that when I talk to the young men on the block, that is what they're interested in, ensuring that each of the sectors are able to actively do what they need to do and make money and make a living from it. So, for example, I was chatting with some of the fishermen the other day about having something as simple as a slipway on the beach in Bell Garden, because when they have pull in their boats, they have to do it. There is no easy way to do it. So having something as simple as a slipway is something that is, they said they would be interested in, and that is a relatively easy program that we could work it. I've already started chatting with the Secretary for Agriculture, if she remains the Secretary for Food Production and Fisheries, about doing something as simple as that. So I think what people need are not big, huge, difficult things. They just want to be able to live comfortably and actualize their way of living and their way of being productive citizens. And that is what we are here to help them to do.
Understood. As we round up the discussion this morning, what would you like your political history to be remembered as, or your legacy, your political legacy to be remembered as?
So I think two things. When I came into this, I wanted it to, and both remain the same actually. I wanted to be known as someone who created economic activity and developed millionaires in the communities. So we should be able to say these 10 people became millionaires because they took the procurement class, because they then did their proposal, because they were able to develop their business. They were able to do it the right and honest way. These 10 people I can proudly say they are now millionaires. That's on one end. On the other side of it, as relates to divisional work or TRHA work, I would like people to see that the systems have finally been put in that the systems work, so that you do not need to call me to intervene because something is not working. We have looked at the system, we have identified the parts that need fixing, and we have fixed them. That is why we've been spending so much money, for example, in the TRHA on diagnostic tools, because we realized that was part of the system that was not working. That's why we are now reworking how A&E will function at the Scarborough General Hospital. If you go up there now, you will see construction actually happening, and we are working with the doctors and nurses to change how you interact with the system as soon as you get to A&E. Again, that's a systemic thing that we are trying to fix. Right. So that legacy is one that I hope that people would say I've fixed the systems and they are now working.
I don't want to keep you too long because I know that you have to run, but one of the things that has been, a point of contention or issue within the health sector is that wait period. When you do go to A&E and the waiting area is not the best or the most comfortable. Oftentimes you're pretty cold and you're crunched in a corner and, you have to either sit in the hallway or, sit there when you actually get past the door. What are some of the things that are in the plans to make at least that wait period a bit more comfortable? When if I can add my experience when I was outside, when they have a waiting area, there's usually a little corner for kids where your kids can play and interact and stuff while they wait, because it is usually an uncomfortable situation to be waiting. So are these little things being taken into consideration?
So even bigger than that, having a space for kids, that's important, and we're working on that kind of stuff. But I am also looking at the larger systemic thing. So for example, very shortly, within the next week or two, the TRHA should be able to shift to what happens when you actually arrive at A&E. So you get to the door, there should be a customer service person at the door saying, good day, how may I help you, immediately. So you're not wandering in and trying to figure out where you go and so forth. And as soon as you interact with that customer service person who takes your basic information, your name, that kind of stuff, there will be medical people right there to look at you, doctor, nurse, to say, well, okay, you are someone who we can see about right here, because there will be a separate section for the individuals who we could see quickly.
Emergency and non-emergency cases.
Exactly. And even in the non-critical cases, we can still see you quickly, because there is a doctor assigned to see the cases that are not dire, while we send you inside to see if you're definitely having heart issues or that kind of stuff. We send you inside to do the more intensive kind of response. So those are the things we are hoping to launch within the next couple of weeks, as a matter of fact, for exactly that reason.
Right. I mean, I don't want to undermine anyone's experience, but in my personal experience recently, my son, I think, had like a eye infection, or his eye was swollen, and we went and a doctor saw us right outside and prescribed the medication right there when they saw him, instead of going inside to wait and stuff. So I can see the progress happening in terms, because I did ask her, I said, how come we didn't have to wait very long? She said it was an easy fix. It was an easy thing.
Certainly, and that is what we are putting in place, so that those easy fixes, you can say it to you immediately. Even individuals who come to the hospital, and what they come for is really a health center thing, we can say to you immediately, you shouldn't be here, you need to present yourself at Bacalet or at your Belgarden Health Center, because that is better for what you need done.
Understood. Well, we want to thank you so much for being a part of our discussions this morning, and we want to also wish you all the best in the upcoming Tobago House of Assembly election within your district of Belgarden, Glamorgan. Guys, we want to thank you so much for being a part of this morning's discussions. Thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing and continue to do to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster. Now, we are on the home stretch going up to elections, and I want to implore even our Tobago Updates viewers and our commenters on our Facebook to let's keep it clean and let's keep it respectful as we go into the election, ensuring that we can raise the quality of elections here on the island of Tobago. Thank you and have a great day.
Never